It's time. Hello, good afternoon. It's good afternoon here in London. Good morning, good evening, wherever you may be in the world. I am Rebecca Nichols, and this is my podcast, Royal Treats. Staying in the flow of the solar-plexus, and we are shifting consciousness. As a planet, we are shifting and rising as we are ascending into a 5-dimension reality. So basically what that means is, if you don't really understand that from a very mundane human level, is that we are shifting from fear to love. We are shifting from fear to love. So although we're talking about power, I want us to know that power associated with love and very much heart balanced and heart chakra, and we'll be moving on to that next week, is all about walking in love, walking in power. Them two combined can create a really beautiful place in your home, in your environment, in society as a whole. When we are collectively, consciously thinking the same, well, we are one. We just are so separated from the oneness that we are, because of division, because of religion, because of culture, beliefs and various things. But it's important to us, for us to come together collectively and understand we are one. There is no separation from anything. That is, in fact, everything is everything, technically. So I want to share a little bit of a story about how I've been affirming my power this week, but also kind of like with grace and ease. I want people to feel the power with the grace and the ease that is combining with that power, because if it's not graceful and it's not ease, it's really not the kind of power that you want. Now, I'm talking about the solar plexus chakra and talking about whether your chakras are open and whether your chakras are closed, and whether you have balance in this chakra. And it will all be determined on how you use your power and how you stand in your power, and what it means to have power, and what does it mean to you. For me, this is my perspective. Of course, this is my opinion, and not everyone's going to agree. I totally respect that. For me, it's about being able to say no without any guilt, without feeling, I should or shouldn't have, or would or wouldn't. It's these kind of should haves, would haves, maybes, not sure. That is not standing in your power, because the knowledge of who you are is very, very powerful once you know who you are. So we're always going to be connecting back to the root and to the sacral chakra to understand that I am here, I belong, I am safe. The earth has got my needs. Stepping forward into your creative chakra is, I'm aware. I have this awareness of myself. I have empathy for other human beings. I am independent from my parents. That means I have my own thoughts. I am here to create this life based on who I am, not on what they are. So that's the separation that is very much needed, and actually kicks in from a very young age, but it's also very suppressed from a very young age. So allowing that individuality and that independence to shine through, so that we understand that actually everything is on us. The responsibility is on us to create this life. It's not on our parents, it's not on our teachers, it's not on anyone else. And that is really stepping into our power and aligning with those two chakras that have been before. So it all kind of starts to make sense if you're listening to this, and you've been listening to me from the beginning on my podcast that I've been sharing over the past 3 weeks, and we've been working through each one. Obviously, there's more covered on my course in Aligned and Divine, and I would love to be able to connect with you and share a little bit more about that and go a little bit deeper into your existence and who you are and why you're here. I deal solely with alignment and getting people to understand who they are, so they can have this life of abundance and joy and peace and prosperity, and be a better all-rounded people that can serve themselves and serve their communities and serve the world as a whole. So coming back to the power chakra, thinking a little bit more about the keywords that are surrounded with this chakra. When I think about power, I think about courage. When I think about power, I think about confidence. I think about leadership in many ways, but in a way that is loving and kind of has the empathy drawn into it from the sacral chakra as well, because the egotistical leaders and people that are undermining others and unpowerful and too aggressive, and that's where we're shifting from the 3D to the 5D, is that we are shifting from the fear-based and the power dominating and kind of authority that is controlling us, and more into this place of, actually, I don't really want to be controlled. I don't consent. This is not my portion. I'm not interested. This is not for me. Thank you very much. Because actually it's important to understand that powerful people will be around you and everyone's stepping into their own power. But the power you have is to say, no, I don't agree. And look at politics and look at what's going on around us in terms of, Brexit here in the UK, what's going on with the US with Donald Trump. People aren't really happy. People need to be able to use their voices and say, actually, this is not us. This is not for us. This is not my president. And I look for it saying sometimes, well, this is not my prime minister. The coalition with the DUP is something that I'm strongly against here in the UK and in London. I think that we need to be more unified. We need to have more quality. We need to be reaching out and helping the communities that are struggling. We're on one of the richest places in the planet, but yet we have such poverty here in London and homeless people in the streets. And I'm quite heart-centered, and I'm really kind of passionate about helping as many people as I can in this life, and doing what I can and making London a little bit more conscious is what I set out to do at the beginning of the year. And I've got much work to do, and with your support and sharing and letting people know what I can do and help will mean that we can all make a difference in this world. And I think, the light workers that are here that are doing the great work, so sharing, are coming together, are spreading the light, who aren't tearing each other down and judging, because I've had to even check myself there and know that sometimes that it's quite easily, we can easily, all of us do that. And it's important to come back to a place where we are just living with love and living all for love and with the power of love. Of course, it really is. As we're moving up now, you're going to be coming up to the heart chakra next week, and we'll be looking at more about letting go, the past, healing, grief, guilt, all the things that have happened to us that may leave our hearts with these trauma. And it's the most tragic thing. And I'll just highlight some things that I think are quite important in terms of this chakra and the blockages and the illnesses that can be associated with this chakra, because it's very, very important that we understand that if we don't get this information on board, and we understand that we are actually creating everything in this reality ourselves, and in terms of even disease and disharmony in our body, it's all us. I know. And it's something like, no, I got sick, it wasn't my fault. Actually, we need to take responsibility for everything, even the sickness that comes into our lives, because at that point, I think we look at ourselves and we can say, what am I doing wrong? Why am I getting this? Am I constantly sick? Am I constantly ill? What vibration am I emitting on? Why am I attracting this into my life? I think when I got really, 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 really sick, 2014, me and Tristan got so ill, we were like literally 3 weeks in bed, really, really bad flu. And at that point, I was really looking at stuff in terms of like Reiki. I just discovered it, third eye opening and all this. It was all very new to me, but I was very intrigued by it all. And so if you're listening to it and you're thinking, I'm really intrigued by this, it's fascinating, I'd like to know more, then that's a good start. It's a good place to be, because that's exactly where I was, and it's exactly why I am the being I am today, because I was curious enough to dig a little bit deeper about who I was, why I was, because I got really sick and I was like, I'm sick of this, like being sick. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And you might feel the same. So, it's important to know that when our chakras are blocked, that certain sickness will pop up in our lives, and it'll be an indication of a blockage, and it'll be an indication for you to be like, okay, so let me slow down. Let me understand why I'm getting this disease or disharmony or whatever. Okay, so if you've got a solar-plexus chakra blockage, you will have digestion issues, maybe kidney or liver issues. Rage will come to you. A rage will be quite quick. You'll be quick to rage, and you could be even the other opposite. So an underactive could be timidity, ulcers, domination. You might want to dominate, and you feel the need to dominate, and that's obviously an imbalance as well. You could be chronic fatigue. You could have low self-esteem. You could have problems with the pancreas, and that includes diabetes. You could have hyperglycemia. I think I've said that right. Digestive difficulties, gastric and duodenal ulcers, liver problems, including cirrhosis, hepatitis, cancer of the liver, hiatal hernia, gallstones, hemorrhoids, varicose veins, or problems within your spleen. So it's something really to think about, isn't it? When we look at that and we realise actually all this blockages is causing something to manifest in the physical, because the physical is only a manifestation of the spiritual, which is very important to know. So when you feel powerful, when you feel aligned, when you're balanced within your chakras, and this is all the chakras that you will have, you'll be healthy. You'll be aligned, mind, body and soul. You'll be able to walk forward in this life, knowing who you are, knowing that you're here to create this life, knowing that the world is yours, knowing that you are unstoppable, knowing that there's this huge amount of possibility for your life. And that's the first step. As we go on and progress over the next few weeks, and I really want to have you on board, so stay tuned and please subscribe to the podcast so you can follow me and you can know when I'm notifying. You'll get a notification, obviously. Please contact me. Me and my team will be lovely to hear from you. You can reach out to me via my Instagram, which is queenofmylife.london, and DM me. I'm always really active there on my Instagram. And let's connect, because I'm really here to help people. But more importantly, I consider myself an educator, because at the end of the day, I want you to take this knowledge on board and know it for yourself. As a healer, I facilitate the healing. I allow you I hold space for you so that you can that healing can be facilitated within you. So yeah, lots to think about in the power chakra. And I'll be sharing some content as well, either in my Facebook group, if you're in the Facebook group, and you'll be getting an email in terms of links to some other content this week as well. I'm actually working on a blog post that actually connects the Jesus theory to the chakras, and actually history and findings have linked Jesus to being very coming from the East and understanding Eastern techniques to understanding chakras, and actually he was very much of an enlightened being, we know that. But obviously things have been misconstrued throughout history, and things have been played up and played down. So I'll be sharing a little bit insight into Jesus and the Lord's Prayer and chakras. So look out for that blog post coming sometime this weekend. Well, I do hope you have a lovely weekend, as it is Friday, and whatever you do, stay safe, stay in that high vibes, be blessed, and I look forward to sharing with you sometime again very soon. Take care, all my love.